Hello, friends, dear students, welcome to Wow Education. And today's our chapter is Class 6 History, Lesson 11 New Empires and Kingdoms. And the concept map is what the concept map means. It tells us the important points which we are going to read in the lesson. First is Prashasti, then we'll read about Samudragupta, then I'll tell you about Harshvardhan. So let us start with Prashastis and what they tell us. Samudragupta, a famous ruler of Gupta dynasty. We know about him from a long inscription inscribed on the Ashokan pillar at Allahabad. This is the image of Samudragupta. He was one of the very famous and very powerful ruler of which dynasty? Gupta dynasty. See, this name Gupta, right? So this is the surname or this is the dynasty of this ruler Samudragupta. So he was one of the ruler of Gupta dynasty. It means there were many rulers in the Gupta dynasty. And how did we know about him? Okay, who are the people who told us about the Samudragupta? Actually, nobody told us about the Samudragupta. How did we come to know? This is Ashoka's pillar. So Ashoka had made his men to build this pillar in Allahabad. And what happened? If we look this pillar from very close side, then we will see these are the inscriptions which are written on this pillar, and from this inscription we come to know about the Samudragupta, that what he had ruled, when he had ruled, and how he had ruled. So you know what inscriptions are? Inscriptions are the writings which are done on the hard surfaces like stones and metals also. So this is the example of inscription. So this inscription which is written on this Ashokan pillar, and this poetry was written by Harisena. This is Kavya. Kavya means poetry, right? Kavya is the Hindi meaning of word poetry. So Harisen was a poet, and as well as he was minister. He was in the court of Samudragupta. So when you are minister or you are working under some ruler, you must be knowing a lot of things about that ruler. Similarly, Harisen was the poet at the court of Samudragupta. That's why he knew a lot of things about Samudragupta, and he had written one poetry on Samudragupta. Later on, Ashoka liked that poetry and he inscribed few of the lines of that poetry on this Ashokan pillar of Allahabad. Not whole of the book, only few lines, okay? Let us see what Samudragupta's Prashasti tell us. So what is written on that pillar? It says, the poet praised the king in glowing terms. Means the poet Harisen, he had praised his lord, means his owner, means his king Samudragupta. How he had praised? He said he was a great warrior. Who? Samudragupta. Beside, he was very learned, means he had a lot of knowledge as well, and he was also a best poet, means he had the capability to write the poems also. And Samudragupta, he had won many battles and he had achieved lot of victories in various battles. And poet Harisen, sorry, not poet Harisen, it is poet, sorry, yes, it is poet Harisen. He had compared Samudragupta with God. Now, what Prashasti is? Prashasti is a Sanskrit word, and what is the meaning of Prashasti? It means in praise of. Mean when we talk about good things about some person, then it means we are doing somebody's praise. So similarly, Prashasti means in praise of. Prashastis became far more important from the time of the Gupta. Now we are talking about the Gupta dynasty. So these are some of the examples of Prashastis. These are the metal plates, and the poems or the Prashastis are written or inscribed on these metal plates by various poets, and they have been preserved for that many centuries till now a date. Samudragupta the warrior. Now see what else praised has been written by Harisen. He had said the body of Samudragupta was most charming. Now see how his body was charming, because his body was covered with a plenty of beauty marks. Beauty marks, what do we mean by beauty marks? If we have some mole on our face, on our cheek, on our nose, then that is beauty mark for a woman. But for a man, what is beauty mark? If he is having a lot of scars, lot of wounds on his body, on his face, then it shows that the person is very bold and brave. Because a very easygoing person, or a very a delicate man, he will not have any wounds or scar on his face or his body. So only a brave person will have a lot of scars, because whenever he will go on the war, whenever he will fight with some other king or the other army, then he will also get wounded, and these wounds will leave scars on his body as well as on his face. So what type of scar he had on his body? They were of axes, arrows, spikes, spears, barbed darts, swords, iron clubs, javelins, barbed arrows, long arrows, and many other weapons. So these all are the example of weapons. So this way we can say, in the earlier times, not only in the earlier times, even today, a man is regarded beautiful or handsome only when he is brave enough, when he is strong to protect somebody, right? This map is based on the information provided in the Prasastis. Harisen has described 4 different kinds of ruler. This is the map of India, and what various types of ruler he had described. Aryavarta. So this area, this green area, it was ruled by the Aryavarta. Now Aryavarta were the group of 9 rulers, and their kingdom were the part of Samudragupta's empire. Next is Dakshin Patha. Dakshin means south. So Dakshin means south. So all the rulers of Dakshin, here we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 rulers in South India who had surrendered to the Samudragupta, means they all had assumed Samudragupta as their master. So this area is Aryavarta and this area is Dakshin Patha. Next is neighboring states, including this pink portion which you can see on the map. It includes Assam, coastal Bengal area, this Nepal area, and a number of Gana Sangha in the northwest. This is northwest region, and here there were a lot of Gana Sangha. So they also brought tribute, followed his order, and attended his court. Whose court? Samudragupta's court. So the ruler of these pink shaded area, they were also under the reign or the rule of Samudragupta. Now the last one is this gray portion. These were the descendant of the Kushanas and Shaka rulers, and the ruler of Sri Lanka also. This is also shaded portion in green. So this green and this green, they had also submitted and offered their daughters in marriage to Samudragupta. So they had relation or marital ties with Samudragupta. So this way whole of this entire Indian subcontinent was being ruled by the Samudragupta directly and indirectly. So these are 2 portions. Next is find Prayaga, the old name for Allahabad. This is Prayag. Thereafter it was renamed as Allahabad, and last year in 2020 it was again renamed as Prayagraj. Next is Ujjain. You have to find this Ujjain. Now this Ujjain is in current time Madhya Pradesh. And next is Patliputra. It is now known as Patna. So these are the three important centers of Gupta dynasty. Vikram Samvat, what is it? The era beginning in the 58 BCE. BCE means before Christian era. This is traditionally associated with Gupta king Chandragupta II, who had founded it as a mark of victory over the Shakas and assumed the title of Vikramaditya. So the complete name of Chandragupta Vikramaditya becomes Chandragupta Vikramaditya II. So what he had done, it was started, this Vikram Samvat was started by Chandragupta part 2. And why he had started this Vikram Samvat? This is calendar actually. This is Hindu calendar. Actually, right now we are following English calendar, which is having the months of Jan, Feb, March. But actually, we Hindus, we have this calendar for the marriage purpose, for other rituals we follow. And so these are the months of Hindu calendar. चैत वैशाख जेठ आषाढ़ श्रावण भाद्र अश्विन कार्तिक मार्गशीर्ष पौष माघ फागुन. So these are 12 months of Hindu calendar. The king who played the veena. Some other qualities of Samudragupta are shown on coins such as this one. As you can see, this is one of the coin of the time of Samudragupta, which the archaeologists they have found. What you can see in this coin is that this is the image of Samudragupta, and he is holding one musical instrument, and this instrument is known as veena. It is almost like this, okay? You can see this is veena. And you have seen, if you have seen the picture of goddess Saraswati, Saraswati is also playing this instrument veena. So by this coin we come to know that he was fond, means he was also very fond of playing this instrument veena. This is also one more image of Samudragupta's time. So this is the instrument veena. Now it has converted in this type of shape. Genealogy. Later rulers of the dynasty such as his son Chandragupta II. His court was full of learned people including Kalidas the poet and Aryabhatta the astronomer. Now let us talk about Chandragupta Vikramaditya II. He was the son of Samudragupta. He was just like his father, very brave, learned, talented and versatile and all-rounder. So two important person who were at his court. One is Kalidas, he was a great drama writer, and second was Aryabhatta. He was an astronomer. Astronomer means the person who study about the universe, planets, stars, sun, moon, etc. Harshvardhana and the Harshcharitra. We can find about some other kings also from the biographies. Harshvardhan, who ruled nearly 1400 years ago, was one such ruler. Now when we're talking about Harshvardhan, it has nothing to do with the Gupta dynasty. He is entirely a different ruler from some other dynasty. Okay, so we why we are reading about Harshvardhana? Because here in this lesson we are talking about the Prashasti. So how do we come to know about Harshvardhan also? It is also by the Prashasti. So this is the area and the empire of Harshvardhan, and he had ruled in India 1400 years ago. And his court poet Banabhatta, he had written his biography. And what was the name of his biography? It was Harshcharitra, and it is written in Sanskrit. And from this book we come to know about a lot of things about the Harsha. So this is the book, the Harshcharitra. Zhuanzhang, about whom you read in chapter 9. In the previous chapter, I told you about various pilgrims who had come from China. One was Fayan, one was Zhuanzhang. So he also had lived in India for many years, and during this time, he had spent some of his time in the Harshvardhana's court, and he had written about Harshvardhana in all his manuscript which he had taken with him to the China. Harsha was not the eldest son of his father. Then why did he become king of Thanesar? Because his father and his elder brother both died, and when the elder brother they die, then the next whosoever is the brother, he becomes the king automatically. His brother-in-law was the ruler of the Kannauj, and he was killed by the ruler of Bengal. Harsha took over the kingdom of Kannauj, and then he led an army against the ruler of Bengal. So it means the region of Bengal, it was also ruled by Harshvardhana. Although he was successful in the east and conquered both Magad and Bengal, he was not as successful as elsewhere. He tried to cross the Narmada. See, Magad and Kannauj. So these are the places where Harshvardhana was ruling, and this is North India. Now what happened? Harshvardhana, he tried to come to South India. So when he tried to cross this South India from here, there was one ruler. So there was one river, that was Narmada river. So here he had to fight with a very strong ruler of South India. His name was Pulkesin II, and he belonged to this Pulkesin II, this ruler, he belonged to Chalukya dynasty of South. So this South, there are two important empires you can see in South India. One is Chalukya dynasty, one is Pallava empire. So Pulkesin II, he stopped whom? He stopped Harshvardhana from coming to South India. The Pallavas, the Chalukyas, and the Pulkeshin Prasastis. The Pallava and Chalukyas were the most important ruling dynasties in South India during this period. During which period? When Harshvardhana was ruling in the North India. At the same time, there were two very important dynasties in the southern India, and they were Chalukya and Pallava dynasty. The kingdom of the Pallavas spread from the region around their capital Kanchipuram. This is Kanchipuram. So this was the capital of this empire, and it was on the delta of Kaveri river. While that of Chalukya dynasty, it was centered around Raichur Doab between the river Krishna and Tungabhadra. What do you mean by Doab? Doab means the places between two rivers, and which were those two rivers, Krishna and Tungabhadra. So if there were two rivers in this area, it means this area was very fertile, and whenever the area is fertile, it means that king or that empire or that kingdom becomes very rich. Aihole, the capital of Chalukyas. So the dynasty, Chalukya dynasty, it had their capital in Aihole. It was very important trading center. Trading center means where lot of business activities take place. It developed as a religious center also with a number of temples. Okay, you can see beautiful temples of this area. Wow, these all temples, they are made up of huge stones. So this area, this place, Aihole, it was a trading center as well as a religious center. The Pallavas and Chalukyas frequently raided one another's lands, especially attacking the capital cities, which were prosperous towns. Now, prosperous towns means towns which were very rich. So, what they used to do, they used to attack each other's capital cities and took and loot a lot of number of wealth from these capital cities, and they went back to their own region. The best known Chalukya ruler was Pulkeshin II. We know about him from a Prasastis. Now, how do we know about him? That is also from one more Prasasti, which was composed by a court poet Ravi Kirti. Ravi Kirti, he was working in his court. According to Ravi Kirti, he led expedition along both the west and east coast. Beside, he checked the advance of Harsha. Advance of Harsha means he stopped Harshavardhan from coming to South India. And apart from that, he had also fought many battles on the west and the east coast of India. Harsha means happiness. You know, Harsh is happiness. So, what the poet Ravi Kirti has written in his poem that after this defeat means when Pulkesin II had defeated Harshvardhana, Harsha was no longer Harsh means he had become very sad. So see, this is a satire. So this poet Ravi Kirti is making fun of Harshvardhana's name. Pulkesin also attacked the Pallava king who took shelter behind the walls of Kanchipuram. So this is one of the story where Pulkesin II he had attacked Pallava king so harshly that he had to save his life by uh, taking shelter or by hiding behind the Kanchipuram wall. But the Chalukya victory was short-lived. Ultimately, both the Pallavas and Chalukyas they gave way to new rulers belonging to the Rashtrakuta and Chola dynasty, about which you will study in class 7. So, Chalukya and Pallava dynasty, their time was up now. Now, new dynasties they have come because all the time for many years one cannot rule. Harshavardhana had rule in his time, and Pulkesin too he had rule in his time. Thereafter, when his son they had come to the throne, they were not so strong as their father. So that's why their empire it became weak, and the new dynasties, new rulers, they took over their dynasty and they started ruling these two southern dynasties. How were these kingdoms administered? Administered means how these kingdoms they were being ruled. Land revenue remained important for these rulers, and the village they remained the basic unit of administration. Some important administrative posts were now hereditary. Hereditary means when a father's post automatically goes to his son, it means it is a hereditary post. Now, what happens during the kingdoms, during the time of the kings, all the seat of a king it goes automatically to his son. But now a time we have democracy in our country or anywhere in the world. So in democratic system what happens, when you have to get the seat, you want to become chief minister or the prime minister of some country, then you have to fight the election, and when you win by the vote of the people, then only you will be able to sit on the PM or CM's seat. But at that time, when a father was a big officer, then his son he becomes that officer automatically. For example, the poet Hari Sen was a Mahadandanayak. Dand means to give punishment to somebody, right? And in English, it is Chief Judicial Officer, mean a person who decide what is wrong and what is right, just like the judges nowadays. So, like his father, means Hari Sen's father, he was also a Dandanayak, and that post had become transferred to Hari Sen automatically. Sometime one person held many offices. So Hari Sen, he was a Mahadandanayak also, he was a Kumar Amatya also. Now Kumar Amatya means a minister. He was a Sandhi Vigrahika also. It means Minister of War and Peace. A new kind of army. What type of army it was? These kings they maintained a well organized army with lot of elephants, chariots, cavalry and foot soldiers. Foot soldiers means the soldier who are like infantry army of today's time. They walk on their foot, and cavalry means the soldiers who ride on the horses, and chariots means the person who rides an elephant. Beside, there were military leaders, and there were military leaders also who provided the king with his troops whenever he needed them. They were not paid regular salary. So these military commands, how they were maintaining such a big army with them, because they were not given any salary by the king. So what they were given grants of land, means they were given lands, and from that land they were receiving lot of tax, and that tax money they were using to give salaries to their soldiers, and to bring and to buy warfare means these weapons. Beside, important men probably had a say in local administration. These were, now see, some other posts, they were very also important during that time. It was Nagar Shrestri. Nagar Shrestri means a chief banker who was holding a lot of money and who provide money or loan to the king whenever he required. Next was Sarthavaha. Sarthavaha means a leader of the merchants caravan. Next was the Pratham Kulika. What it means? It means the chief craftsman. Craftsman means the person who makes a lot of decorative items. The head of the Kayastha or the scribes. Scribes are the person who writes with beautiful handwritings. Next topic is assemblies in South India. Let us talk about now what you mean by assembly. Assembly is a gathering, okay, gathering of many people. The inscription of the Pallavas mention a number of local assemblies. Like we have nowadays parties. Parties means like political parties or some other type of party or organization or a group. Suppose you are in a school, you also have a group of your close friend. You don't get mixed up with each and every student of the class. You have made a group of two friends, three friends, four friends, or five friends, so that will be regarded as your group. Similarly, in that time also these groups were known as assemblies. So what were the name of these assemblies? One was Sabha, and the Sabha was the group of Brahman landowners. These were Brahmins and they had a lot of land. So in their assembly only a Brahman landowner can be the member, and these assembly function through subcommittees which looked after. So they had made lot of committees to look after the welfare of their organization or their group. So what they used to do, these assembly, they looked after the work of irrigation, work of agriculture, making roads or local temples. Means if there is any problem in these areas, so these subcommittees of these assemblies, they try to correct all these problems. There was one more assembly, it was known as Ur. Ur was a village assembly, but the member were not the Brahmins. So who were the member of Ur? The sorry, the members of the Ur were, they were not Brahmins. They were also the landowners. It means they were Rajput and other caste people. One more assembly, it was Nagaram, and Nagaram was the group of merchants. Merchants means the people who do business, okay. So Nagaram was an assembly of the merchants of the city. They were very powerful and rich. Kalidasa. Who was Kalidas? He was the court poet of Chandragupta Vikramaditya II, and he is very famous for his plays. You know, he is also known as the Shakespeare of India because of his beautiful plays which he had written in Sanskrit language. An interesting feature about these plays is that the king and most Brahmins are shown as speaking Sanskrit, while women and men other than the king and Brahmins use Prakrit. It means Sanskrit was the language of the only high-fi people like Brahmins and the kings, whereas the common people, they were speaking and they were talking in Prakrit in the time of Kalidas. His most famous play is Abhigyan Shakuntalam. This is one of the play or the book which he has written. And what happens actually, the story of this book is about the love story of King Dushyant and Shakuntala. And we find an interesting description of the plight of the poor fishermen also in this play. The Chinese pilgrim Fahian noticed the plight of those who were treated as untouchables by the high and mighty. Now let us go back to one of the inscription which one of the book which Chinese pilgrim Fahian has written. So this pilgrim has talked about the life of the ordinary people in the kingdom of Chandragupta dynasty or the Pallava dynasty or the Chalukya dynasty. Local people means the people who were of a smaller caste, means untouchable, like we call them scheduled caste or scheduled tribe in current time. They are sometimes also called Dalit also. So these poor people, they were regarded as untouchable by all the other caste, like which were the high caste, Brahmin, Kshatriya and Vaishya. They were regarded as the higher caste, whereas Shudras, they were regarded as the lower caste. And they were expected to live on the outskirts of the city, means they cannot live within the city, within the villages, where a city or the villages finish. After that, 2 4 5 kilometer away, these people, they have to make their houses. And further, what he has written, if such a man or woman enters a town or a marketplace, suppose an untouchable person, he has to go to the market to buy something, then what he will do, he or she will strike a piece of wood in order to keep himself separate. Means he had to make other aware that I am an untouchable and I am coming, so please all of you be aware and stay away from me. Because if Brahmin and the Rajput, they would by mistake will touch these untouchable, then they had to wash, they had to take bath. So to avoid this, what happens, they had to strike a piece of wood continuously whenever they had to go to the marketplace. The king's army. Banbhatt provide us with a vivid picture of the king's army on the move. Means whenever a king has to move, what used to happen? The king traveled with an enormous amount of equipment. Lot of things a king used to take along with him whenever he used to move from one place to another. So what were these important things? Like pots, beautiful pots, pans, also furniture, golden footstools where king will place his foot. Food, including animals such as goat, deer, rabbits, vegetables, spices, these all items, they were carried on carts or loaded on the pack animals such as camels and elephants. This huge army was accompanied by musicians beating drums. Means whenever a king will get bored on the way to some city, then these musicians will play beautiful songs or beautiful music for the entertainment of the king, and other playing horns and trumpets. Villagers had to provide hospitality. Hospitality means all the villagers, they had to welcome the king on the way, and they come to the king with lot of gifts. And what was the gift of villagers? They brought curds, good and flowers, and they also provided fodder for the animals which were in the caravan of king. They also tried to meet the king and place their complaints and petition before him. The army left a trail of destruction behind. When means whenever a king's army used to pass by a village, after passing of the king's army, lot of destruction, means they had destroyed all the fields, all the crops, all the trees and beautiful plants under the feet of, under the legs of elephants, camels, and horses, and the army persons. So this is the end of the lesson, and these are the important question. You can pause the video anytime and try to give answer to these all questions, as these all questions are very important, and these will check the understanding of what you have learned in this lesson. Thank you so much, and please like our channel and subscribe it as well. Name of the channel, as you know, Wow Education.